This is the Unawarded Black Podcast with your host, Jay Watts. Hey, while you're watching the video, comment, like, and subscribe.
Explosive accusations tonight being investigated by LMPD. One of the officers under investigation in the death of Breonna Taylor, now also being investigated for sexual assault. Thanks for joining us for Wave 3 News at 11. I'm Shannon Kogan.
I'm John Bull. There has been no filing of criminal charges, not even a lawsuit that we're aware of. But some of the women making claims are getting legal representation. Wave 3 News reporter Caitlin Rust received a statement about Detective Brett Hankison.
John, a Wave 3 troubleshooter investigation found Detective Brett Hankison never entered Breonna Taylor's apartment, but fired through a window with the shades drawn. He and the other two officers are still under investigation, but now Hankison is at the center of a completely different one.
We're doing this for Breonna Taylor.
As thousands of loud voices echo through the streets of Louisville, you can now hear several voices who for years have been silent. They join in the demand for justice, and one detective's name starts to stand out: Brett Hankison. Stories posted to social media of young women trying to make their way home from St. Matthew's bars at the end of the night. They say Hankison approached them in uniform in his marked car, offering them a safe ride home.
It's important to take it seriously. We live in a world with a rape culture.
Some of the allegations have made their way to the governor's desk. One woman claims Hankison rubbed her thigh, kissed her forehead, and called her baby while driving her home in his unit. Another says he grabbed her while making sexual comments, trying to get her and her friend, who was said to be too drunk to even stand, into his car. This woman says he took her phone and got her information, then sent her sexually explicit videos and pictures of himself. A predator of the worst kind is how one of the women describes him in a statement released by Sam Aguiar, one of Breonna Taylor's family attorneys. She was the first woman to post her story, alleging Hankison gave her a ride home, invited himself into her apartment, and sexually assaulted her while she was unconscious. Her statement says he used his uniform to stalk women at local bars and sexually assault them, knowing his badge would keep them quiet. She claims there are many women who have similar stories, and they all blame themselves, too scared to report a police officer, unsure of how to even go about it. We're still trying to find out if these women have filed written reports with LMPD.
If any of those individuals, I would think, want to speak either to certain detectives in LMPD, in the Kentucky State Police, or investigators in the Attorney General's office. Any of those law enforcement officers should listen and should take it very seriously.
Hankison is said to work off-duty as security at some St. Matthew's bars, according to an ongoing federal lawsuit that accuses Hankison of being a dirty cop, harassing a local business owner, and planting drugs. I reached out to an attorney representing Hankison and have not yet received a response. LMPD says investigators are looking into the allegations and want anyone with any information to call 574-LMPD. Reporting live in studio, Caitlin Rust, Wave 3 News.
And you say to yourself, that was bad, but could there be more to the story? Yes, there's more to it. Next video.
In new court filings, attorneys for Breonna Taylor's family detailed a list of concerns about the actions of officers on March 13th, the night Taylor was killed. They're raising concerns about whether officers were wearing body cameras the night Sergeant John Mattingly, Miles Cosgrove, and Brett Hankison shot and killed Taylor while executing a search warrant at her apartment.
We've got body camera footage from Brett Hankison in other situations. And then we've got a citation that shows that Miles Cosgrove, just 2 months before this, while executing a search warrant for the criminal interdiction unit, was wearing a body camera.
This contradicts what former Chief Steve Conrad initially claimed about officers with the criminal interdiction unit who were serving the warrant at Taylor's apartment.
And some of the officers assigned to this division are not or do not wear body-worn video systems.
These court documents claim criminal interdiction officers were wearing body cameras while serving another warrant that same night. Attorney Sam Aguiar is now demanding LMPD turn over body camera footage from all 120 officers who responded to Taylor's apartment March 13th and audit trails for those body cameras.
When did it record footage? Who's accessed that footage since? And does it still exist?
They also want a neutral party to extract data from all cell phones, tablets, and other devices used by the 3 officers who fired shots that night.
We're seeking immediate compliance with this order because there's an imminent need for it and because there's such a fear that critical evidence could be destroyed.
Evidence that attorneys hope can tell them why Brett Hankison left the scene after the shooting and could not be located by LMPD.
He was just involved in an officer-involved shooting where there's strict protocol on staying at the scene and getting a PIU escort, and instead he just hightailed out of there.
Attorneys are asking for a third party to be allowed in to inspect all the devices listed and begin extracting and recovering data within 7 days of the filing of this order. We did reach out to LMPD for a comment on the latest order filed, but we have not heard back. Reporting.
Okay, last thing. Louisville police released the Breonna Taylor incident report and it's virtually blank. Nearly 3 months after Louisville police officers fatally shot Breonna Taylor in her South End apartment, the department has released the incident report from that night, except it's almost entirely blank. The 4-page report lists the time, date, case number, incident location, and victim name, Breonna Taylor, as well as the fact that she was 26 years old. 26-year-old black female. It redacts Taylor's street name, apartment number, date of birth, all of which have been widely reported. And it lists her injuries as none, even though she was shot at least 8 times and died on her hallway floor in a pool of blood. It lists the charges as death investigation. LMPD officers, involved officers, LMPD involved that checked the note box under forced entry, even though officers used a battle ram to knock in Taylor's apartment door. It also lists the offender officer's report. Let's see. But the most important narrative portion of the report is the narrative of events that spell out what happened March 13th. Has only 2 words: PIU investigation. After all that, I almost don't even know what to say. As you know, the report goes on from what they said on the video clips that this one officer, Brett Hankison, has been reported to have been sexually, going after women, sexually abusing his privileges as a cop. And he was the one that shot in the apartment indiscriminately. And then he disappeared. Now, I know the police chief there has been fired. Now, he was only fired after the death of David McAtee, where the police officers didn't have body cams. They learned their lesson the first time after Breonna Taylor, and it's just been a mess in Louisville. These officers need to be investigated. Oh, also, another point. The video states this. The video says that, not the video, but the article itself says that there were cameras outside of the apartment building where Breonna Taylor stayed. Now, where are those cameras at? Obviously, those cameras caught something. Those body cams definitely didn't caught something. And this police officer had something to hide. I found the thing, recently, and they showed police union leaders defending officers for their actions. I know these officers are going to be defended because they had a no-knock warrant. But I don't understand. How would they do a raid across town and have cameras, and then they do a raid over there that mysteriously don't have cameras. Personally, my opinion is this. I think they was going to go in there, they was going to find some drugs and some money, and they was going to take it for themselves. I could keep going. But I think the videos themselves speak for themselves. These police officers are crooked. David what's his name? Brett Hankison is corrupt. I don't even know how this even going to turn out. But as much as we march for George Floyd, we need to march. Let's keep these other people in mind too. Breonna Taylor is a person that we need to keep in mind because she is a person that died at the hands of abusive police. So, it's a lot. But, like I said, we should keep all these people that have died recently, we should keep these people in mind. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. And let's not forget, and we got to keep on this stuff, got to keep on it. But let's not forget the death of Kenneth Harris, 62. Now, if you don't remember Kenneth Harris, he was killed by Hannah Payne, a white lady in Georgia. He had a wreck, was apparently having a medical emergency, and, I guess he drove off. He was having a medical emergency at the time. And she went down and chased him down, called 911, told the police that he's getting away, and the police, just like with George Zimmerman, stop. Don't follow him. Let the police handle it. But took it upon herself to stop him, got out of her car, shoot him, say he shot himself, then change shirts to make herself seem more feminine, to sound more feminine. That, the police like, she thought the police was just going to let it go. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, send me your comments. This is the Unawarded Black Podcast with your host, Jay Watt.